A double plus for Warren Buffett. Not only did he turn 90 on Sunday, but he's worth what? Almost $80 billion. I'm not mad at that. Julia LaRoche, there's also some news with Mr. Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway investing pretty heavily into some Japanese trading firms. What does this mean? And it's not quite what some of us would understand as far as traditional trading, right?
Yeah, well, also a pretty interesting investment from Warren Buffett. At least from my perspective, I think it may be the first in Japan snapping up investment stakes in five Japanese trading companies. Let me just walk you through the news that came out from Warren Buffett. Berkshire Hathaway's wholly owned subsidiary, National Indemnity Corporation, announced that it has slightly more than 5% of shares in five of these Japanese trading companies. They are listed as Itochu, Marubeni, Mitsubishi, Mitsui, and Sumitomo. Just to kind of give you an overview of what some of these companies invest in. Itochu, for example, they have lines of businesses in metals and minerals, food, machinery, engineering, general products, and realty. Others have stakes in media companies, those sorts of things. They kind of remind me of conglomerates, if you will. And Berkshire said that they've been purchasing the shares over the last 12 months through the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And they also noted, I thought this was really interesting, Berkshire said that it has a long history of substantial passive holdings in successful businesses, pointing to Coca-Cola, for example, American Express, Moody's, and that they said that they intend to hold these Japanese investments for the long term. Berkshire also did note that it may increase its holdings up to 9.9% in the five investments, but didn't indicate that they would go. Actually, I think Buffett pledged that he wouldn't go above 9.9%. He would keep it at that level. Now, Warren Buffett said in a release, I am, quote, delighted to have Berkshire Hathaway participate in the future of Japan and the five companies we have chosen for investment. The five major trading companies have many joint ventures throughout the world and are likely to have some of these partnerships. I hope that in the future there may be opportunities for mutual benefit. Based on the closing share prices on Friday, it equates to more than $6 billion, the investment stakes here. I think it's interesting, Adam, to dissect why Buffett would make this move. I don't have a specific answer. He did talk about Japan and why he wasn't investing in companies in Japan at a talk back in 1998. They have all these Buffett archives talking about how they haven't been as, I guess, shareholder responsive in recent years. But of course, when I kind of think about it, I've noticed a lot of activist investors in recent years investing in Japanese companies. I think they have become more shareholder friendly here. And Buffett certainly signaling it's a long-term play here. Also noting that they won't go above that 9.9% threshold on the investment. So definitely an interesting move for the 90-year-old who's clearly able to change his mind.
Yeah, we saw that with the airline stocks, but I want to ask you a question, and you hit upon it when you talked about activist investors, because this is a long-term play for Berkshire Hathaway. But wouldn't an activist investor might be doing something like this to gain access maybe to order flow and to maybe get a read on what's happening in specific sectors? Does Berkshire operate that way? Is that even something that would come into play with them?
Wait, can you unpack that question again? I'm not really sure I understand it.
Will they get inside information on where trends are going by being invested in these companies?
I don't think so. I think if I think of Berkshire broadly, though, just kind of stepping back, when I think of the company broadly, I think they have a really incredible pulse on, if you just think about it, the U.S. economy just from their different lines of businesses. So maybe this could give them a read. I would not go as far to say inside information by any means. But I mean, of course, if you have different stakes,
not inside information,
read as to what's going on in the world, you're certainly paying attention. But
well, and no one pays attention better than Berkshire Hathaway.